To the winner by split decision from Ukraine.
Fury family are a fighting family. There is no better than Tyson Fury. Raised by his dad, who got into many fights. His early career, winning. It was non-stop, and Fury was on the way to the top. His boxing IQ surpassed anyone's in his division, ultimately working his way up to heavyweight titles and beating Vladimir Klitschko. A tremendous night for him, but a night that would leave him feeling empty, lost, and thinking, what is next? The next few years for him were very difficult.
Good to see you here, looking very sharp.
Oh, I'm here as usual.
Drug-fueled rage, addiction, alcoholism, his heavyweight title stripped, and he was a man overweight with no direction in life. But with no direction, once you've hit the bottom, there's only one way to go, and that way is up. Fury got back, training consistently, and his next fight would be Deontay Wilder, the man with a shotgun for a right hand, and ultimately Fury, known as a pillow puncher, was going to face his biggest test yet. He inspires thousands, the fat man's dream, doing it for all fat men. He's not the traditional physique of a fighter, but when he's in that ring, he's an absolute animal. And the story of Fury Deontay Wilder 1 is one for the history books. That fight went on for 12 grueling rounds, many saying Fury should have won, until he was dropped. And when all cards were against him, everyone thinking he was down and out, he got back up. The mindset of Tyson Fury was shown there and then. The relentlessness to never give up, to never go down. The mentality that man has to come back time and time again was shown right there. A draw was given and we were all set for a rematch. Fury continued fighting, switching trainers, and ultimately going for a knockout blow. He believed he could KO Deontay Wilder, and that's exactly what he did. Wilder Fury 2 was an absolute demolition. Fury mauled Wilder, and despite multiple excuses from him, there was no coming back from that. Fury was the winner and the rightful heavyweight champion of the world. Despite the absolute mauling, Wilder wanted another fight, the trilogy, and Fury KO'd him. The man had came back and taken it all. There was various names in the heavyweight division being thrown around. He wanted the very best. Anthony Joshua's name always coming up, but the fight never being fully made. Disputes between Fury's camp and AJ's camp, it never quite happened. And Fury then went on a journey to fight people who some would consider too easy for him, whilst AJ was having losses and ultimately came up against Usyk. This was Fury's next challenger, his next big fight, the man who came up a division and slaughtered everyone in his path so far. Tyson Fury didn't know it then, but he was about to experience the wrath of Alexander Usyk. Some may say his ego got too big for him, and by the time he got in the ring with the rabbit, he was the one being hunted. With a strong hand from Usyk in the later rounds, Fury experienced a rock, but Usyk followed him up again and again and again. He was stumbling and falling, but he never went down. Some say the ropes held him up, but his mentality to keep going and to never give up ultimately is what kept him in that ring and not on the canvas. Usyk was then victorious, and now we come to this moment in time. Fury Usyk 2. His last moment of redemption, his last time to get back that heavyweight title. Now, Tyson Fury, we have all heard his story. The man that has came back from so much and won it all back. But it has to be said, especially over recent time before Usyk, he was a bit too big for his boots. Yes, he had proven to everyone that he is one of the best, but there is people out there that in the boxing world people said he dodged and ultimately went for easier fights. You can't fault his relentlessness to keep working hard no matter whenever all the cards are against him. He fights back and fights back and fights back time and time again through addiction, alcohol. Obviously, when he came back in Deontay Wilder, nearly KO'd him. Will it be the same this time? Who knows? People are saying it's similar to Wilder 2, where he comes back, he's a different person. And I do believe Usyk has humbled him. His story is incredible, and people can take a leaf out of his book from never giving up. The determination he shows, you're never down and out, ever. And he proved that. And obviously that's why people connect so much with his story. But as I said, it's just over the last few years, maybe that ego has been turned a little bit too high. And Usyk has brought that fight back down. He will give it his all, and he'll cause an absolute nightmare. And these two men, they never give up. They've been brought through different struggles in their lives, and that is why it makes such an entertaining match. The stories behind them and the sheer skill, presence of both boxers, both of them so intelligent. Will Usyk be stronger than Fury, or will he come back with a bang this time? Usyk's time of a fighter is one of true incredible nature. Starting off playing football and then moving to boxing due to his family not being able to afford it. His dad, a very big influence in starting boxing. Usyk had over 300 amateur fights before turning professional, fighting in the Olympics. His dad, very big motivator, getting recruited at a slightly older age, about 15 or 16, but then when he stepped in that ring, destroying everyone in his path. Gold in the Olympics, then making his way in the cruiserweight division and destroying everyone in there. His boxing IQ, world class. No one thinks quicker than him in the ring. His fists continuously following you wherever you go. Walk away and he'll be there. His father sadly passing, someone who he credits a lot to for starting his boxing career. A family man, much like Fury, just wanting to take care of them and provide them with a happy life. A man whose ego is not inflated, and even with his recent success seems to be humble, ready for war. Cruiserweight division was too easy for him. After defeating Bellew, he decided to move up. People called him middleweight this, middleweight that against Anthony Joshua, absolutely smacking him up and winning a heavyweight title. Usyk was the man to be beaten, undefeated much like Fury, and seeking his next challenge. Their two worlds were bound to collide, and this is where we meet Tyson. Usyk, in contrast to Tyson, does not show much emotion in his press conferences. He's very calm, calculated, with the words that are spoken.
Don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone.
I will not leave you alone, he says to Fury. Fury giving it the big un.
You're fighting the best British heavyweight there's ever been.
Constantly thinking that this is another easy fight. He didn't know what he was getting himself in for. And then the time came. Usyk Fury, the fight everyone would have been waiting for. Starting off in Tyson's favour, he had the earlier rounds, but the cockiness got to him. And Usyk, if you don't get him out of there, he's going to continue to go and go and go. The engine of a madman, the fists and IQ of a true genius. And he caught Fury in the later rounds, and we know what happens next. Usyk wins and becomes undisputed champion. Tyson can throw all the excuses he wants out there, but on the day, Usyk was the better man. And now we come to the rematch. If Usyk wins this, he will be hands down the best heavyweight there possibly has ever been. A humble man who doesn't speak much English and is just very feel.
I'm very feel.
There would be no one else realistically out there for him. He would have conquered the cruiserweight division and the heavyweight division, something that is just truly remarkable. In someone like Tyson, dilly-dallying around big fights and ultimately taking easier options, Usyk has came in, beat the big boys, and if he wins this fight, his time will be done. Will we see the same outcome in the rematch? That is to be decided, but what we can say is these two men have both came back from adversity. They both have absolutely unbelievable mental resilience, and they will go to the very end. They are both at war, and what might come next is truly remarkable. A potential third match if Fury wins, or Usyk standing tall above the rest. Let them play as he enjoys the fruits of his labour. So when looking at Usyk's backstory, it was quite fascinating to see a man so relentless, working tirelessly to get out of his situation. His family, making them proud, making his father proud, and his father ultimately being the one to push him into boxing, then sadly not seeing all of his success. It's pretty crazy how these two boxers, their mentality is unbelievable, and Usyk, from nothing, like so many do, building himself up, obviously moving constantly when he was a young little boy getting bullied, and he used that time to make his mindset relentless and to keep working and to keep that discipline. That's what the best do, and his mentality, his boxing IQ is one of the very best. His ability to change the way he punches in the ring, no other boxer can do it as good as him. The forward thinking and the ability to keep going, to keep pressing him and pushing him, even when he's hit a hammer blow, it's incredible. His rise to the very top is one to be studied for the ages, and at the moment he is proving that he is one of the very best. This fight is going to be insane because a man like that can do so much, and he's cool, calm and collected. He doesn't really give it the bigger in the press conference like Tyson did, thinking he's the big guy, even though he had just beaten Anthony Joshua and Fury was beating some journeymen. He really did keep it humble, dressing up as the hitman in this press conference. That shows the mentality. He's going there to assassinate, and this time he'll want the knockout to truly show that he is undisputed and that no one can judge him. From cruiserweight to the heavyweight division, everyone saying that he's just going to be smashed up by Fury. He proved the doubters wrong, and both of these men are going to be trying to prove the doubters wrong in the second match. He's a real man who is lovable. You know, he hasn't got any bad qualities as it stands, and it seems like going through that period of time to keep going, and then from 14 to 15, really that upwards trajectory shows the type of man that he has to keep wanting more and to keep improving. Usyk is the man, and we'll see what happens on the 21st. And it's a backstory for the ages, really. From hardship, working his way up, moving different cities, fighting a lot of people, fighting the very best in his weight division, beating them all, and then moving up to the heavyweight division. The IQ that he has with his fists, the IQ that he has in his brain. Boxing seems to be more of a mental game, and I'm not an absolute professional. You know, I just like watching the heavyweight boxing, and that's when Usyk came up. I was like, he's just going to get absolutely battered by Fury. But looking at his history and what he has done, it seems like there's no man can stop him. We'll see if Fury can try to stop him on the 21st of December, but as Usyk's proved, he's a hard man to beat. Tyson Fury versus Usyk 2. The war to end all wars. Usyk absolutely dominated him in the rematch despite Fury's excuses, and the man has one more chance to put it right. He said he's gave up everything for the last 3 or 4 months, training relentlessly, but is all that hard work gonna pay off? Now my prediction for this is it's going to be a cracker. The last match, people said Fury had the advantage, and I'm a massive Tyson Fury fan, but I don't agree with the way he went about it, saying that the war was the cause for the win for Usyk and stuff like this. But we know what happened. He controlled a few of the rounds. Usyk came in, landed the bigger punches, and ultimately nearly had him gone. Fury's got that resilience. Usyk has got that cold confidence. Will not say anything in these press conferences. He's been the hitman, and he looks to take him out. I don't know what's going to happen. We're 5 days out at the moment, and wow, it will be sparks. I hope it sparks. Obviously, there will be a rematch if Fury wins. My prediction, though, look, you've got 2 things. Usyk's undefeated, and he's an absolute killer, and he's killed every big dog that there has been put in front of him. Fury, on the other hand, is the comeback king. He did it against Wilder. Says he's trained harder. Said he's not saw his wife for 3 months. Well, we will see what you've been doing for those past 3 months. He was up on a high horse, wasn't he, to be honest? He going undefeated, winning all these matches, thinking he's the big dog. thinking he's the best ever. And now Usyk has came and said, no, you're not, mate. I can absolutely clobber you. So I do believe he'll be back bigger and better than ever. But I don't know if it'll be enough to stop Usyk. And as a Tyson Fury fan, seeing him get absolutely smashed up last time was ridiculous. But I'm predicting an Usyk win by points again, because I know Fury's going to have to knock him out. You can't go to 12 rounds. I'm a boxing casual here, but you can't try and take Usyk into the 12th, 11th round and try and just win on points, because that man is an absolute killer. And as a person who's not a boxing enthusiast, I just thought the heavyweight fights were right. I love the big haymakers. I do believe that Usyk is probably the best. The story of Usyk is truly incredible. The way he has made his way through all these weight divisions, growing up in the country he did and experiencing the hardships that he did. Ultimately, Tyson Fury has experienced hardships as well, but Usyk's the man. And they'll both be nervous on December 21st. Who will win? We'll have to wait and see.
Scored about the same, 116 to 112, all to the winner by unanimous decision, still undefeated.
So it was a fight for the ages, Usyk ending up on top. It went to points. My prediction was right. Two absolute goats of the generation. But Usyk comes out on top. Tyson Fury, you have to be real, he didn't do enough to win the fight. Everyone's saying he got robbed. I don't know where that is coming from, because for me personally, as a casual and even as a Fury fan, I thought it was a draw-ish, or maybe Usyk won it on 1 or 2 rounds. I weren't scoring like everyone else does on the scorecards. I was just enjoying the fight, and personally I think it was closer than the judges scored it. But ultimately, can you argue with that? Every time Fury won a round, Usyk came back. Even in the rounds that Fury won, Usyk came back and countered him and ended off the round strongly, even if he did lose the round. There was ones that were very close, and of course Fury is going to go and say, I won it and I was robbed. But now for him, he's got Joshua on the cards realistically. Take the time off. Hopefully he doesn't go and get absolutely smashed and go off the rails and fights Joshua. That could be his last fight. As for Usyk, the story and learning about him is crazy, and he has made himself the greatest boxer of this generation. Gotta be up there now in some of the very best. I'm not gonna act like I know who they all are, but he's a great, isn't he? What he can do, and fighting someone 4 stone heavier than him. I don't know how much taller Fury was, but he cracked it, and he did very, very well. Fury should have learned and gone at him straight away. Fury probably won the early rounds, but like I said, they was close. Usyk knew once you got in that territory of 8, 9, 10 rounds, he was always going to take control. And the way he can just counter punch and learn on the job, smacking Fury up in them last rounds, you can barely give Fury any of them, because Usyk was great, and his engine is unbelievable. He's done it to Fury, he's done it to Joshua. Undefeated, undisputed. You may as well retire, mate. You can have that fight against Daniel Dubois, but just for a casual, wow, you have to stand there and applaud him. And of course, Fury's going to make mistakes. I think this fight was closer than the last fight, because obviously Fury did get battered, but probably didn't show as much technique and skill with those uppercuts. You know, I've been listening to what he was doing, and ultimately Usyk did more of the same. I wouldn't say there was as good as there was in the first fight, but overall the fight was closer the second time. I don't think you can argue with the decision though. Usyk was the better boxer, and he's the champion. You have to take those rounds off him. If I'm a boxer, you shouldn't let it go to the scorecards, and especially with Usyk can box you about until he's happy. You can go to round 13, 14, 15, do what he wants, and he didn't. Out of the two, they was both tired, but you could see, especially in that last minute of the round 12, they was both slogging at each other. But as I said, Usyk, his movement and mobility, that's what you do when he's slightly lighter, and he can just go bang, bang, bang. And I personally wouldn't argue with the decision, even as a Fury fan. I don't agree with why they judged it being whatever points it was, but ultimately, what an event. They've both got absolutely loads of money. Fury did say, he was the better fighter, pressing him all the time. He was pressing him in moments, but then at the end and throughout most of the match, Usyk controlled it. Obviously, Tyson won rounds, but Usyk, for the majority of it, was like, hey. If he knew what to do in every single moment when Fury came towards him, when he had Fury in the back foot, and although he didn't deliver a mind-blowing knockdown or KO, that's why he did win it ultimately. He is the champion, and Fury didn't do enough to get himself in there and win the fucking belts back. And I suppose for the big boxing fan, you have a pivotal winner, a man who's conquered it all, came up from nothing, destroyed one division, then go up and destroyed another. Absolutely crazy stuff. Now, as a casual, I would love to see that Fury-AJ fight, and that's it. But unfortunately, Tyson Fury, as much as he say it's not about being the best ever and all this sort of stuff, that's now gone. The Gypsy King has been put down to Prince, and Usyk has rendered himself one of the best boxers ever. What a man, what a story, what a fight. We've got to say they are two great fighters, probably the two best of this generation. I think Fury most of the time beats most people, but pound for pound, it's Usyk, and what a fight it was.